Hey friends!
Hey friends!
We're out on an evening stroll.
Yeah, welcome back to And the Adventure Continues. We are out on an evening stroll, like he said, because the weather is actually under 90 degrees today.
Yeah, I didn't want to get fat working at my desk.
Yeah, we needed exercise, so no treadmill, just an evening stroll. But we realized it's been a hot second since we've given you guys any kind of life update, specifically an adoption update, and so we wanted to take a few minutes and do that. So we did a thing.
Alright, so you know how like China's basically shut down for like indefinitely, just
For adoption travel.
For adoption travel. So
Yeah.
you know there's like another country with like Chinese, or with China in the name, and that is the Republic of China, Taiwan.
Yeah, so in some of our adoption groups that we're on Facebook, we started hearing people talking about concurrent adoption. So what is concurrent adoption, Josh?
So basically you got like two applications open for two different countries at the same time.
Okay, let's do a really quick recap of our China adoption process. It all started way back with the dossier preparation. The dossier was a stack of paperwork, including like employment verifications, police clearance letters, birth certificates, physical exams, lots and lots of paperwork. All of that had to be gathered and then sent through offices here in the United States for authentication and certification, and then also it had to be sent through like the Chinese embassy. Ultimately, all of that dossier was sent to China and officially logged with them on February 1st, 2021. We were so excited. Just all that work had finally paid off and we were ready to go. But that's when we hit our first speed bump. It turns out that all of the children's files that had readily been coming out of China had virtually stalled, and there weren't any more files being created. This meant that it would be a little bit more difficult for us to get matched, but we pressed on knowing that the process was long and that by the time we got to that point, maybe more files would be released. Well, that's when we hit our second speed bump. Our next speed bump actually happened just a couple of months ago. China stopped issuing pre-approvals. And basically what a pre-approval is when you find a child's file and you go, yes, this is the one, you would submit for a pre-approval. They will lock that child's file in for you. China decided that because of COVID, they would temporarily suspend all pre-approvals indefinitely. For us, that meant that we were completely dead in the water. Ultimately, though, even if there was forward motion, the next step in the process is completely stalled. China has not allowed any adoption travel since January of 2020, so it's been over a year and a half, and they're not willing to let any travel happen until they deem it safe for the children to be traveling. And more than that, there is absolutely no timeline as to when that might happen. So yesterday, what did we do yesterday?
So yesterday we decided to put an application in to the Republic of China, Taiwan. And so that is a concurrent adoption. Things right now is China is just locked indefinitely.
Yeah, they're actually speculating it could be another 2 to 3 years before we get to travel to China and pick up a child.
And we want to tell you some cool things. So one of the things that we're going to talk about is the Hague accreditation. Another thing is a general difference between the actual the process of finding out who your child is and your connection with the child.
Yeah, the China adoption process and the Taiwan adoption process are super, super different. So here's just a short overview. The Taiwan adoption process starts with a simple application to your adoption agency. From there, you can start working on your home study. We already have a home study done for China, so for us, it would just mean a simple update, a lot cheaper and a lot faster. From there, with Taiwan, you actually get to start reviewing children's files, and you get matched to a child before you move forward with the dossier process. So you find a child's file that you're like, this is the one, you send it to doctors, you know, tons of information, and Taiwan has what's called a match meeting, where they review all of the families who have submitted for that child and make the decision as to what family best fits that child. And then hopefully you're matched to your child. Yay! Once you are matched, you get to go on ahead and start that fun paper chase of building your dossier again. Lots of papers to get, lots of government offices to go through, citizenship to deal with, passports to get, and ultimately, you get to travel. The awesome news is that all of these steps are currently moving, except travel, which for the moment is simply on a pause. But our adoption agency has had 5 families travel in 2021 to go pick up their children.
It was too noisy on the other road, so we had to double back.
All right, so the Hague accreditation, the reason why Taiwan is not Hague accredited, which can actually cause issues if you're with your grants, because most grants require the adoption country to be Hague accredited.
Yeah.
But Hague accreditation is not with Taiwan because they're not recognized by the
By the UN.
UN.
The history of Taiwan is actually like super tumultuous. They've been fought over by like Portugal, and then they were Dutch for a while, and then they were China and Japan, and
Even though they're not Hague accredited, their process is pretty cool. So with Taiwan, you actually get matched to a child first. So normally you would do your home study, you would send it in, and then you would get matched, and then you would go through the process, you know, all the paperwork and everything else, which is kind of nice. That's kind of a cool process. You kind of feel like your adoption process is farther along earlier.
yeah, like it's nice to actually be connected to the child first and know who you're adopting before you start the dossier and all the paperwork and all that kind of thing.
And it helps you prepare, so if your child has special needs or something, it gives you a little bit more time to kind of prepare. Also, normally you would go over there for a week and spend time with your child or children, and and then once a month, you would do Zoom calls and things like that. And before you actually, and in China it seems like you just go over and you basically just pick up the child first week over. Child thinks you're is scared, doesn't know who you are. So this is just a great way in Taiwan where they can really help get to match you and the child. And so when you do bring your child home, or children, it is more natural.
And that's the other thing that we're very excited about for Taiwan, is that you have a in China you didn't really have the opportunity to adopt siblings at all, whereas in Taiwan you can adopt siblings much more easily. So there are definitely some things about the Taiwan program that we really, really like and that we're excited for. Basically what happens with our China dossier is it just kind of hangs out and it's on pause. If we were to go on ahead and adopt a child from Taiwan, then what we would need to do is wait about a year, and then we could kind of pick back up with that China dossier and that China adoption process and adopt from them too.
So with the Taiwan adoption, you can use part of your home study, depending on kind of if you're going to get a different age child or a different gender or multiple children, obviously that would have to be updated in your home study. So definitely reach out to the company that did your home study.
You're going to have your home study updated either way. Like if you are another person who's thinking about switching from one country to another country, or doing a concurrent adoption, your home study would need to be updated for the new country that you're looking to pursue. So ours, we will update from China to Taiwan. We'll update it to include siblings and kind of expand the age that we were thinking about. But that whole updating process is a lot faster and a lot easier and cheaper than if we were starting a home study from scratch.
Yep. You still have to go get your new fingerprints and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's another big difference. Instead of an I-800 for Taiwan, because they're not Hague accredited, we will do an I-600 for citizenship. So that's a little different.
But it's a similar kind of process. The nice thing is if you're in China and you're kind of waiting, you're going to already know all the steps. And the nice thing again with Taiwan is you get connected with a child first, and so the motivation to get everything done sooner is going to be there. One other thing is Taiwan, they speak the state language is Mandarin. So if you already know Mandarin, great. They obviously have another different dialects.
But we've been
Taiwanese.
working on Mandarin a little bit, and so it's nice to know that that can still apply to this adoption as well.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, you actually had to make 2 separate trips to Taiwan, one to have like the court hearing, and then the second time to actually pick up the child. But because of COVID, it's down to 1 trip.
Here's another cool fact. So these orphans are, the reason why they even go on the adoption is because nobody in that country can take them. They are really great about trying to adopt their own. Yeah.
So that's where our adventure is at the moment.
And we just wanted to share it. We know a lot of people are in the same boat as we are. And I know it pains us when we see like, families that have children already in China. They're just waiting to pick up. And we know that's super hard. To recap, Hague accreditation, that could be an issue with your grants, but I think a lot more companies that are giving those grants out may review the Hague policy specifically for the China-Taiwan, just because.
But if you're thinking about switching to Taiwan and you do already have grants, just kind of keep that in mind and check into it maybe before you make your choice. So yeah, as of yesterday, our application is officially in to adopt from Taiwan, which is amazing, and we're so excited. When we first started the adoption process, like we had no idea you could adopt from 2 countries at once, that concurrent adoptions were even a thing. So we're really excited about this adventure and the fact that we can start making progress again and hopefully bring our little one home, possibly even bring a brother and sister home, or 2 sisters, or there's just a whole world of possibilities.
Yeah, even during this time, there's still children that need homes, and we have a home and a family we'd love to
I think that's kind
be with them.
What brought us to this point is God started laying it on our hearts that we're waiting for China to open, but it could be 2 to 3 years, and in that time there's still so many children who are waiting out there that we could move forward with them right now and then pick up with China later. So why would we just sit still when there's so many kids out there that need forever families? So I think that's kind of how God brought us to this point, and we were a little overwhelmed at the thought of it at first, but God has been working in both of our hearts, and we're just excited to see how He's going to provide and the kids He's going to bring, and it's going to be a beautiful process, and we can't wait to bring you along for the ride. So until next time, guys, and the adventure continues. 再见, bye.
A general difference between
Wondering what tree